Well, good morning. Thank you for joining me. It's Thursday, August 13th. It's kind of early in the morning, but I see I'm not the only one that was drawn to the bay shore for a little early morning. Actually, there's a feller over there sorting his dulse. Dulse is a seaweed or kelp, I believe, that you can pick off the rocks on the shoreline. You dry it out in the sun, let the natural salts and stuff come out of it. It's really rich in nutrients, natural salts, iron, good source of fiber. Well, I wonder where he's going. He's getting ready to launch that sailboat here pretty soon. It's the same sailboat that used to be parked over onto the right side of this dock here. Right where that, you can see where the cradle trail, the trailer is, the cradle for it. He's got her painted up. She's looking pretty. And this will be where she'll probably get launched, right down there. That's what you want to call a slip. It's not necessarily a boat launch. Your boat launch would be on the beach portion. The concrete portion is where the lobster boats would pull up and ground out. Perform maintenance, change their zincs and whatnot on the undersides underneath the water line. They'd be able to perform all that maintenance there. As the tide goes down, we get, well, when we used to do it, we'd get a few hours in the morning, and then, you know, you'd have to play you kind of had to play the game of playing with the tide. But it's not uncommon to find me over on one of these wharves in the morning, or cruising by the Bay of Fundy or somewhere on a lake. I've never really gotten over the habit of early rise from fishing. No, the Magnum boy, she's just starting to float. Actually, I don't know whether she's just starting to float or go ground. I never looked at the tide schedule, but honestly, judging by the beach there, I would say, as wet as it looks in some places, I would say the tide is receding right now. It's on its way out, or what we would call an ebb tide. When the tide's coming in or on a rise, we'd call it a flood tide. Yeah, he's rigging that boat out. I'm gonna have to take a drive over after if it's not raining. Have a little look-see. This fish plant here right in front of us, there's a long history to that. That's been here for as long as I used to be alive. And there used to be a really big, blue building there, and they used to build actually they built a few scallop boats and big fish draggers back when they were the wooden boats. They were actually built right there, and they'd launch them right across the road. There's only a handful of them that are still around though. They're slowly being phased out by the fiberglass boats, but there was a lot of skill and a lot of maintenance that was always required with the handcrafted wooden boat. my grandfather, he used to build wooden boats. My father, my uncles, all of their boats, they're 50 and 45, and I think even a 65 footer was all built right there on the bay shore, just down a little ways further down in Hillsburn is where my grandfather used to build them. There used to be an old dock wharf down there in Hillsburn, and now there's only just the remnants of it. The old poles stick up out of the ground. It's the property around it is private owned, and they don't really care to have people down around there, which is, it's kind of a shame, because there's a lot of people's family history that's tied to the beach around here and stuff. And it's a shame when people, especially local people like that, kind of do it for no real good reason other than to just, I don't know, stir up whatever over personal boundaries. Some people get heckled and hassled just for driving down the road. Heaven forbid you try to look at the beach. Oh, this is a welcome sight. I could stand to do a bit more of it out on the 201, but it's definitely a welcome sight, seeing some of the old ditches and everything get trimmed up. Hopefully I can get back over before that boat goes in the water. I'd like to see that get launched later, or see what she looks like with her sails. I know the gentleman, he used to lobster fish. He's a really nice gentleman, really nice guy. Does a lot of stuff all himself. Really intelligent. It's the type of guy you can self-teach himself a number of things. Kind of jack all trades, you'd say. And oddly enough, he seems to be a master of quite a few of them. And he's just the type of guy that, yeah, I could see him hopping on one of those sailboats and just kind of being at peace with it. And bravo on him. Kind of curious what that. My wife is kind of. She's alluded to wanting to buy a sailboat different times. It's such an undertaking, though. And you know what boat stands for? Break out another 1,000. And as having owned commercial fishing boat and recreation boats, that's exactly what it should stand for. You're always on your toes with a boat. And I would imagine a sailboat would probably be I'd imagine it would be even more intense. It'd be kind of neat, though, to be able to just pop around the coast of Nova Scotia. Especially this time of year, like, now that the fisheries, a lot of the fisheries around the coast have kind of slowed down. Like, he'd be able to go anywhere in the Bay of Fundy pretty well right now. The other thing's just watching the weather. Skirt up the skirt up the east coast from Yarmouth up along to Halifax or Canso. That would be quite fun. My wife might not have a bad idea, to be honest with you. Usually her ideas are pretty good, but I don't know. Might be a good way to spend retirement. And I do got a few of the skills that I could, you know, it would take a little bit of work, but I can maintain a sailboat, no problem. I mean, I'm pretty well versed in fiberglass work. Spent well over a year building a lobster boat from scratch with my father. He did all the woodwork. I did all the fiberglass work. Well, I won't say all, but I did a fair amount of it. He kind of led the way, and then once I was confident enough, and he was confident enough, because I mean, it's not like we was building a speaker box, right? Like, people's lives depended on the construction and the integrity of the construction, so it was very important to be done right. So learning how to rib roll and all that kind of stuff. Man, that'd be fun. Just to be able to be back out on the water. To be able to get some of those sunsets, and I bet you that's half the reason he's got it, is that's the one thing. That's the one thing you just can't get anywhere else, is those. For me, it was the sunrises. Because, in all honesty, in Nova Scotia, like, I can sit at Hampton Beach and I can see close to the same sunrise or the same sunset as what I'm getting when I was out fishing in the Bay of Fundy and whatnot. But those sunsets, or I mean sunrises, when you're a few miles off, and yeah, you just can't. You can't replicate. You can't reproduce those. You just can't. They're a one and done, and they always was special. I always did take a lot of pictures of them, but I don't know, as I think my fishing career was winding down, and I kind of knew the wind down was happening. I tried to take a lot of it in, but there really isn't much. You can only be so prepared for that, and I miss them sunrises. That whole transition from it being pitch black out there and not being able to, you know, if you turned your LEDs and all your lights off, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. That's how dark it is out on the water sometimes. And then the nights when it's, a full moon and you actually you can sit there in the ripple, you get that moonlight ripple off the water, that's something else. I don't miss the competitiveness in it, because it never really brought the best out of any of us, or the best out in any of us. But I miss all that, like, nature. I miss those transitional hours. The hour before sunrise, or golden hour, and before that sun even peaked. Like, in that first little instance of light, and you just get to see the horizon on the mountain. That faint trace of Nova Scotia in the background. Yeah, I miss all that. I get up a lot quite early in the morning trying to reproduce, trying to catch my sunsets and whatnot. And I always find myself kind of seeking out quite high elevation, like Annapolis Valley or Parkview. I go to that, look off. Sometimes I'll go up, take a drive. If I'm up like 4 in the morning, I'll drive up and kind of sit at the lookout in the minus and kind of wait and just, I don't know, I find a lot of peace in just kind of driving around, having a little in the lookout. One of my favorite spots actually is the bridge by the Tim Hortons in Bridgetown. That's one of the, in the summertime, that's probably one of the prettiest sunset or sunrises. Why do I keep getting them confused? Oh, that's frustrating. But the sun will rise right, if you're parked on the bridge, the sun will rise right in line with the snake of the river going up, the Annapolis River. On some mornings when it's foggy, it's almost magical. Like, the mornings in Annapolis Valley can be magical on its own, really. There's something about that mist just hanging over the surface of the valley, over the surface of the river, and then slowly by about 10 a.m. it lifts and it becomes a nice clear day. But up until that moment, it's kind of just, it's like you're, I don't know. It's like you're in a different little spot up until that fog lifts. And then the temperature changes, the heat changes, it all changes. Well, this morning was kind of one of those mornings where it all just kind of called me out. It wanted me. I couldn't really be sitting home. And then it's supposed to get quite. You wouldn't be able to tell it now. That'd be the last thing you'd expect, but we're supposed to get a fair amount of rain here later. And possibility, they've been giving us warnings for thunder and quite heavy lightning for a couple days now. And I think here at any time we're going to get it. They're calling for it around noon. But we could really probably find ourselves getting it any time. Down across there to the south of us, there's a fair amount of cloud cover, but it's not dark, ominous cloud or nothing like that. It's just hopefully it's not a real bad downpour or something like that. It's just a nice little drizzle, keep things wet, keep things kind of fed, so to speak. breaking tradition. It's quite a sizable boat. They've made a real hectic spot here to even turn around to do anything. Some of the stuff that they do in Annapolis is kinda, it shakes your head. We'll just leave it at that. But that one's a little bit bigger than your average boat, eh? There's some units. They're probably on their way on across Canada or North American journey. I'd love to have something like that. Oh, I'd love to. Pack out Bria and the 2 dogs and just go. That's the dream someday. Oh, look at this golden. He's just trotting. He get his happy feet. What a beautiful boy. Got a little bit of gray. Yeah. He's got a little bit of color kissed off him. I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for a golden retriever. That little trot right there, my, that made me think of my old boy. Pretty much right on schedule. There's not many days go by that I don't think of him. And the ones that do go by and then I don't get to think of him, they're probably not much of a day worth remembering, to be honest with you. Something nice and peaceful about just the mornings in the valley before some of the hubbub and stuff all starts off. And it's not even a lot of hubbub. I mean, it don't take a lot to make Annapolis kind of feel packed. As you can see, just a few people staying at the bed and breakfasts overnight kind of congest the town. It's that double-sided sword, double-edged sword. But with that, I'd like to thank you for joining me. I'm gonna make my way. I think I'm gonna make my way back home. Pack Abby up, maybe take her for a walk before some of this rain starts to hit. It wants it all clouding over within the next hour now. So by about 10 o'clock it wants it clouding over. Take her for a walk and maybe probably spend the rest of the day putting this video together and hit the old upload button for you. It was a nice morning. One of those mornings just to sit by the bay and kind of listen to the stillness, and it's nice sometimes with the waves crashing and the water pulling back through the rocks and everything, but sometimes it's nice just to listen to the stillness, the quiet of yourself, and maybe the odd seagull. There's something quite peaceful about that. Today was one of those mornings for me. One where you just kind of take your coffee, and just sit and have you and your thoughts. But thank you for joining me. If you've watched until now, I appreciate you so much. Until next time, enjoy your days. Try not to waste them. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.